The Collaborative Lifecycle Management app is designed to keep your design versions, branches, and maturity states organized and structured within your group. In this app, you can see a design's maturity status in a graph shown above, which shows which states it can be changed to as well. In addition, you have the ability to add new revisions to the existing design, which update graphically to show their relationship. And you can create new branches with unique names to create independent designs in parallel. All this is done in a collaborative space where other members can be given specific access rights to move the design through the appropriate revision levels and maturity status. In this lesson, I'll go through how design revisions, branches, and maturity states are structured within the Collaborative Lifecycle Management app, including who can be given access rights and ownership of the design. The Collaborative Lifecycle Management app is included in the suite of industry innovation apps, which can be accessed by going to the north quadrant on the 3D compass and clicking on it here in the list of My Social and Collaborative apps. You can see that the app displays the text Drop Content Here, which is shown since there isn't a design added in the app with revisions and duplicates included. To make it easier to add a design, I'll make a new tab in the dashboard that includes both the Collaborative Lifecycle Management app and the 3D Space app. I'll close the app, make sure I'm working in a custom dashboard such as Design Collaboration, add a new tab, rename it Collaborative Lifecycle Management, then drop the app into a widget on the left and the 3D Space app into a widget on the right. I'll close the panel on the left and resize the widgets so they fit on screen. Now I can add a design to the Collaborative Lifecycle Management widget in a few ways. I'll use the miter saw assembly in this example. I can locate it in the 3D Space widget and then dragging and dropping the design into the widget on the left. Similarly, I could search for the dataset in the search bar above, which brings up a list of results. Once I find the result I'm looking for, I can click to select and drag it, which brings up the tab in which I was working and then drop it in the widget. Since I've already added it, I won't add another instance. Now that I've added a design to the widget, you can see a couple important areas appear on screen. At the top, there's a maturity graph that shows the status and progression of each version. I'll come back to this in a minute to explain it further. Down below, the model revisions and branches are displayed. You can see that this miter saw has two branches, as shown by the columns on the left and the right, and there are 3 revisions in the first branch and 2 revisions in the second branch. The revisions are listed under each item, such as C1 shown here and B1 shown here. Now that you've seen both the maturity graph shown above and the branches and revisions shown below, I'll talk through each of them more in depth. The maturity graph above shows the status that the design can move through. Right now, the design is set to In Work, which you can see has multiple arrows extending out from it. This means that this design state can be changed to Private, Frozen, or Released. If you're an admin in the platform, you have access to customizing these maturity graphs. To view the graph and make changes, make sure you're viewing the Platform Management dashboard. Then select the Content tab. From here, scroll down to the Collaborative Spaces Configuration Center. Scroll down in the list on the left and select Maturity Graph and choose Engineering Resource, which is the default maturity graph. As you can see here, the arrows connect to one another as was shown for the miter saw. You can click and drag the green points on each maturity state to connect it to another one to modify the graph. You can also adjust the names of each state, such as changing In Work to Development. You can also change the names of the state changes by clicking on the arrow which highlights, and then changing the name here. Now I'll show you how to create new revisions and branches for your design. I'll go back to the dashboard I was working in called Design Collaboration, and I'll use the single component guard attachment to show you the tools. I'll drag it into the widget, And I can begin using the tools shown at the bottom. In the Lifecycle tab, I can click on the first button to create a new revision based on the one selected here. The current design is showing the revision level A1, so if I click the button to create a new revision, I can specify the new name if desired, which I'll leave as guard attachment, which changes it to a B1 revision shown directly above the A1 revision. Similarly, you can create branches to make independent versions. If I select the original A1 revision again, I can click on the New Branch button here, which brings up a window that shows where it's branching from and an option to add a duplication string. This is a prefix that's added to the beginning of the design name. I'll add the word updated and a dash to indicate that this is an updated version created from a duplicate. And when I click OK, the branch is added to the right. This includes the prefix added on the front of the name. If you don't want to keep a revision or duplicate in the structure, you can delete it directly in the app. Just click on the one you want to delete, then click on the Delete button shown below. This brings up a window that asks if you permanently want to delete it. The checkbox here for Whole Structure will delete all components inside an assembly when checked. I'll click OK, which deletes the branch I just created. You can also view all the properties of a particular revision or duplicate. I'll click on the B1 revision I created, and then select the Properties button. This displays all the critical model information such as the owner, revision level, the creation date, and much more. You can also view the design by clicking this button here, which brings up 3D Play where you can rotate the model and get a closer look at it. To wrap up, I briefly want to mention the tools available in the Collaboration tab at the bottom. The first button allows you to assign access to the selected design. All you have to do is search for the member you're giving access to, and then click Save. The second button allows you to change ownership. You can search within an organization, within a collaborative space, or by a specific user. Lastly, the Reserve and Unreserve buttons allow you to lock and unlock the design from being modified. Clicking on each of these activates each one, such as reserving a specific revision or unreserving it.